Good morning. It is 6:48 a.m. on Monday, January 26th, 2015. I'm Christiana Ellis, and this is 5 more minutes. I'm tired and my cheeks are cold. Um, it's winter, of course, here in Boston, but I think I was unprepared this morning for it to be a little bit colder than usual. And once again, I have Lena joining me. Um, so just took her outside, of course, and but one of the things I want to talk about is weather related, because I think, or rather, it was a weather example that brought this to my mind. And the issue in general is that this is the information age, right? This is an era where we have access to more information, more media channels than ever before in all of human history. But one of the interesting effects of that is that when we are self-selecting what media we consume, we can produce this silo effect. It sometimes could be like an echo chamber from political issues, where if you only ever listen to people with a certain political philosophy, that will probably reinforce those ideas in your own mind, and you're not necessarily ever listening to an outside perspective. But what I was also thinking about is how, if, for example, you self-select media and news that does not pertain to actual real-world events, really important things that could affect you might go unnoticed. And the specific example for me in this case is that my dad called me yesterday and said, "I was just checking in on you to see how you're preparing for the storm." And I'm like, "What? Storm? What? Huh?" And then I realized for the last couple of days I've been playing video games, thinking about movies, catching up on recorded TV shows, reading comic books, that sort of thing. And none of that had connected to, well, what's the weather going to be? Is there anything important happening in my area coming up that I should know about? And it kind of took me by surprise, because, of course, as soon as I pulled up the weather report, I see, oh my gosh, they're talking about some big historic snowstorm with potential of 2 to 3 feet of snow and 40 to 60 mile per hour winds, and it's very serious. And starting Monday afternoon, they're saying, please no unnecessary travel and stuff like that. And so I'm just realizing, like, if my dad hadn't called me, how much longer would it have taken me to realize how big a storm this was going to be, or at least had the potential to be? Sometimes these things kind of fizzle. But really, I mean, it makes me think about how maybe what it used to be was, when there was only 3 or 4 more channels, they could put out one piece of news there and get a much larger swath of people. Now, of course, there would have always been people who missed that, or so I don't really want to say or imply that there's anything now that's really worse than before, so much as it's just different. Because I think it's such a great thing that we have access to all of this other new information. But I think maybe it's just important for us to remember how that can produce really substantial blind spots in what information we receive if we over-specialize. So maybe it's just a good idea every so often to check in with a variety of different sources. some that maybe you're not used to, or even some that maybe you disagree with, just so you can have a better awareness of what's going on around you and not be taken by surprise by a gigantic winter storm. Anyway, it's 5 minutes, so remember I'm at ChristianaEllis.com. I'm at Christiana Ellis on Twitter, and I'll see you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.